Hi, Gurinder, I have a question for you. Um, yeah, just wanted to know, ma'am, how different is the Hindi cut from the film's original British release?
Same, exactly the same. Exactly the same.
This is asking you, so considering, there's some amount of criticism as far as the Viceroy House is concerned. Some said that it totally disregards the freedom struggle in India. Some said that it was anti-Muslim. And there's some amount of brickbats. Now that it's releasing for the Indian audience, what sort of response do you want from this film?
Well, I think you cannot make a film like this without upsetting people. I mean, because everybody has their own version of history. As the film says, it opens with history as written by the victors. This film would be very different if it was made by a Pakistani in Pakistan, an Indian from India, or a white British person in Britain. But it's the unique combination of who I am that has made it my vision. So people who will have something to say, it's because they want their own version of history. They want to see things their way, and that's perfectly valid. I am really not worried about people wanting to see more of this or more of that or more of this side, more of Jinnah or more of Neruji or more of this. I'm happy with that, because the thing is, this is everybody's story, and everybody has to tell their own stories. And this is not going to be the last film on Partition. There'll be many more. But this is my version, and this is how I see the world, and this is my record of how I see the events that defined me, my family, my community, and my nations, all my nations, at that time in 1947. So I absolutely appreciate some people having their own comments, and they're 100% right, because it's an emotive subject. I think for Pakistan, it's going to be a very emotional subject. In England, what has been very interesting for me is to see the way British Pakistanis have seen the film, compared to a few Pakistanis from Pakistan, because there was a Muslim writer in Britain who said that anybody attacking this film, yes, it's Fatima Bhutto, after her article came out, which was very much from a privileged Pakistani perspective, because for her, I think it's very hard to appreciate that her country was born out of such pain, basically. It's hard for people to understand that and appreciate that, because people want to rewrite history. But I appreciate her anger. I appreciate, her position. It's hard for young countries to find their place in a global world, But for me, I think that in Britain, what was great was a lot of British Pakistanis saw the film, came up to me, were very emotional, and said, we didn't know our history. We didn't know any of this, and thank you for telling us it. And so I think this is why sometimes it might be hard for people to understand, but being a British Asian, I have close friends who are British Pakistani as well as Indian, as well as white, and we have a different cultural experience than, say, Indians and Pakistanis here on the subject. So I think I've been able to stand back, and look at it in a different way, not necessarily the right way or the wrong way, but in a different way, and hopefully shine a light on what it means for me and my ancestors, and why my grandmother suffered, as I said, and why I lost my Puaji, who would have been 72 today, had she not died during that time.
But ma'am,
Whom,
are there any scenes or particular dialogues which have been omitted to, ensure that you don't get that sort of response once it releases in India in Hindi?
No, because what I tried to do was make a film that was very fair for everybody. As I was cutting the film, I wanted to make sure that I was not going to offend, people who were liberal-minded. and were understanding of where I was coming from. You know, in many ways, you know, this is not a film for people who think from extreme sides. You know, it's how I think. It's my view of the world. It's who I am. You know, and therefore it's a personal film on what I see as the future, you know. And for me, the future, okay, we have partition. Partition is there. There is another country called Pakistan. My homeland is there. My grandfather, my great-grandfather's house, everything is there. But for me, I value the music. You know, I value Punjabi music. I value Punjabi language. I value Punjabi culture, fashions, you know, all this. And to me, that's a unifying force. That's a positive thing of what I value about my ancestral sort of culture and legacy. If I can't go back to that village, I can appreciate the music and the poetry from that joint heritage.
Huma, yeah, Justin.
We'll just take
Huma,
one last
there was a shot in the trailer where one character comes to the other and says, "आप हमारे लोगों के साथ रहा कीजिए." Now this is of course pre-independent India, and we can imagine that sort of dialogue happening. But 7 decades later, here we still have this you versus me divide, where people are judged upon what their ideologies are and which meat they eat. How sad do you think the state is?
Sad, that we haven't really learned. I mean, it's really sad. It's baffling. I think people who talk like that need medical help. This is what my personal opinion is, because I don't think any god or any religion or any country or the idea of nationhood should divide. It should unify. And like what Gurinder said, you should look at the unifying forces like music and poetry and dance and culture and food. You know, I've grown up in a more secular way. I was raised a Muslim, but I've played Krishna at every Janmashtami. You know, in our school and our colony skits and everything. We never कंजक पे हम लोग जाते थे तो पाँव को ना धोते हैं पूजा करते हैं दिवाली मनाते हो आप होली मनाते हो ईद भी उतने मज़े से मनाते हो so I think आप जब when you can be together and have the best of all the worlds, why would you choose to take such an extreme point of view and miss out on all these beautiful experiences, all these lovely friends? Why would you choose to do that? So I think people who take such an extreme point of view in life have either ulterior motives or just need medical help.
Also, quick question to Mr. Sarkar. Are we looking at a Pakistan release? I mean, is it going to come out officially there?
So, it has been sent to censor. If the censor clears it, definitely will have a Pakistan release. Incidentally, it is having a Bangladesh release. It will be because that's partition history was as much relevant on the western side as it was on the eastern side of the country. So Bangladesh, it is already cleared. Bangladesh, it will have a release probably on the same date. Pakistan, we are waiting for the censor. If the censor clears, it will have a release.
हुमा नॉर्मली यहाँ सामने आपके राइट में जी हुमा नॉर्मली आप बहुत काम रहती हैं और नॉर्मली आप कुछ बोलती नहीं है मीडिया को लेकिन हाल ही में ईद पार्टी के टाइम पर आपका कुछ पेपराजी जो नीचे शूट कर रहे थे
नहीं ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ था
ऐसी न्यूज़ आई थी तो क्या
I have no idea, ma'am.
Can I introduce the rest of the cast,
please do that. Yeah, I was
Yes,
about to do
I'd
that.
like to introduce on stage Denzel Smith.
Who's playing Muhammad Ali Jinnah?
Muhammad Ali Jinnah.
तो इनकी शक्ल ध्यान से देख लीजिए.
Arona Day Singh, who plays
Asif.
Asif Ali Beg plays our wonderful sous chef.
Yeah.
This is part of the wonderful cast, very small faction, of course, and they're very, very talented, lovely.
Thank you so much. We'll just have a couple of solo pictures. Yeah? Huma? Chal. We good? I'll take it. Chalo, say cheese. Cool. Gone. We'll just have a couple of solo pictures. Yeah? So, Huma? Gurinder, आप भी आ जाओ.